This is Nolan with Poe Productions, and today we're going to show you how to do a survey mission with the MAPIR cameras mounted to the 3D Robotics Solo. We have the 3D Robotics Solo with the 4 MAPIR cameras mounted underneath, the Solo remote, and the tablet ready to go with the Tower app loaded up. Now we're going to flip the Solo over and take a closer look at the MAPIR cameras. So we have 4 different MAPIR cameras mounted here. We have a visible light, we have a single camera NDVI dual band, and we have our red and IR infrared cameras, which will allow you to do a 2-camera NDVI. The cameras are mounted to our 3DR Solo 3D printed mount that isolates the vibrations from the Solo through the dampening balls between the mounting plate on the Solo and the camera mounting plate. The cameras all turn on automatically when the Solo turns on, thanks to hardwiring into the Solo battery. Inside we have a UBEC, which converts the Solo battery's power to the 5 volts that the cameras require, and that is then routed to each individual camera through the USB plugs. Okay, so now we're looking at the Tower app. We need to connect it to the Solo. As you can see, we have a connect button here. We need to make sure that the connection type when you're using Tower is on UDP. So to get to that, you're going to hit the 3 lines at the top left there. You're going to go to Settings. You're going to go to Telemetry Connection Type, and you're going to make sure it is on UDP. Backing out of all of this, we are going to connect. And there you can see the tablet's GPS is going to be the blue dot, which is off a little bit. What's more accurate, thankfully, is the actual Solo position, which is exactly where we are here on the edge of the survey field. Next, we're going to want to change a couple parameters. This is a recommended step, not a required step. The default parameters for the Solo out of the box is to return to home when it loses communication with the controller. When you're doing an autonomous mission, it's better to have it continue to do its mission than to return to home, especially if it's on maybe the furthest point from you and you know it's going to continue to do its mission. So to change the parameters, we're going to go into the parameter setting here and we're going to search for the Failsafe, which is FS. We're going to scroll down to the Failsafes, and the 2 that we need to change, the GSC and THR, the default values are to return to launch when communication is lost. We're going to enable it to continue its mission only in auto mode. This will not affect normal flying around non-autonomous mode. It will return to launch if it loses its connection in other modes besides auto. So now that we've made the changes, we're going to upload, and it tells us that 2 parameters have been uploaded. If you want to verify the parameters that are on the Solo, you can click the Cloud Download button up here. It will refresh the parameters, pull them from the Solo, and you can then again see what they're set to. And you can see that the changes that we've made have been preserved. We're in the main flight data screen right now. We're going to create the mission by going to Editor. Okay, so we're going to create a waypoint by clicking on the waypoint button there, touching anywhere on the screen. We're going to change the speed that the Solo is flying to 10 feet per second. Zooming back out so we can see our survey area. We want to survey the dark green section of the sod field. Clicking on the spline waypoint here, we're going to change that to a survey. We're going to now draw around the region that we want to survey. The white lines are the path that the Solo will be flying autonomously. Clicking on the survey waypoint itself, you can see that the camera defaults to the Canon one here. We're going to change it to the camera we're using, which is the MAPIR cameras. We're also going to adjust the height that the Solo is flying to 200 feet. The passes that the Solo makes is now less based on the higher altitude. Now we want to upload the mission to the Solo, and we're going to hit Upload Mission. It's going to ask us, do we want to append a takeoff and return to launch? We're going to say yes. As you can see, each of the waypoints are showing at the bottom of the screen now, and it is uploading to the Solo.
Waypoint saved to drone.
Okay, now that the waypoints are saved to the drone, we are ready to fly our survey mission. And to begin taking photos, you're just going to hit the shutter buttons on the MAPIR cameras. And now they're each taking a photo in 3-second intervals. Okay, so now we're going to change to the flight data screen. We're going to arm the Solo. Now we're going to hit auto.
Received. Going for waypoint 4.
So you can see the Solo here going to the first waypoint. Okay, so as you can see, the Solo is flying to its next waypoint. It's at the 200-foot elevation that we set. The MAPIR cameras are on a 3-second timer, so every 3 seconds they're taking a photo. And it's going to continue to do its survey until it gets to the end, and then it's going to land. Now that your survey mission is complete, we're going to stop the cameras from taking the photos, and we're going to bring the images into post.